Hello, I'm Stephen Childs of virtualvoicelessons.net, and I would like to welcome you to another part of our Expression Through Ornamentation series entitled Vibrato. Vibrato has been for me one of the most interesting, yet difficult subjects of study that I've ever encountered. The reason for this is because it is hard to understand why it actually sounds good and why we are able to do it in the first place. Anyone who can already use vibrato will tell you it's something that they are controlling, yet it does it on its own. It also is interesting that so many instruments imitate the human voice by using vibrato, including guitar and violin. Now, vibrato in singers is a very interesting physical phenomenon. It is caused by a quick unsealing of the vocal folds, which in turn causes a drop in air pressure. This drop in air pressure makes the pitch of the voice drop down slightly. When the vocal cords reseal, the voice then snaps back up to the same distance above the note as it just was below it. The distance is around a quarter tone, which, in case you don't know, is half the distance of one note to the very next note on a piano. It is this neurological programming within us to unseal the vocal folds, drop air pressure, and reseal it that causes this wide wave that we know as vibrato. For most of us, the vibrato falls within 4 to 7 undulations or waves per second, and it generally stays at that speed throughout. Any slower, the vibrato becomes another ornament called bobbing. Any faster, it becomes the very unmusical sound called tremolo. So let's take a moment to see what the vibrato looks like as a waveform. As I mentioned earlier, vibrato seems to be something that we all have programmed into us already. And really, it's just a matter of nurturing the vibrato to come out. And again, it is something that we control, yet it does it on its own. The closest analogy that I can think of to explain vibrato this way is the blinking of our eyes. And even that analogy is not quite like vibrato. Now, there are at least 3 different types of vibrato that people try to use, and only one of them is correct. The first type is abdominal vibrato. This fake vibrato is caused by giving short jabs with the stomach muscles that sounds like this. Next is a form of vibrato which more resembles trembling in a voice, which is appropriately named tremolo. Tremolo is caused by flexing certain muscles in the larynx, which makes it quiver. It sort of sounds like this. Ah. Now, we can also demonstrate this through the clenching of a fist. If I tighten my fist up hard enough, you see, it starts to shake. Tremolo is a very common attempt at trying to utilize vibrato, but is unfortunately very jagged and uncontrollable. You will know that you are using tremolo by its speed. Tremolo is the same speed as flexing or shivering. This is much, much faster and more shallow than regular vibrato, which again bounces 4 to 7 undulations per second. The way in which we avoid using abdominal vibrato and tremolo are somewhat related. It has to do with how we start the vibrato. In other words, the way we engage it or turn it on. Vibrato must start with a drop in air pressure. Both tremolo and abdominal vibrato are engaged by flexing, and that's what the main difference is. You must drop the note first, and this will trigger the vibrato to happen. Let's take another look at the vibrato waveform.
Okay, what I would like to show you now is the 3 different types of vibratos that people use. Unfortunately, 2 of them are wrong. The first kind that you will hear people use is what we call abdominal vibrato, and I'm going to demonstrate that for you. Now this is where I'm using my stomach to almost pulsate my voices into getting this kind of a fake wave. Now, here's the problem. First off, the note C, which I was singing right here, when I brought in my abdominal vibrato, it went below the note only. Okay? And also the wave is very, very long. Regular vibrato should be, the wave should be around a quarter step. Now, what we have in music are half steps, that's the shortest distance, but vibrato goes in between them. In other words, we have the note C, and then we have the note C sharp. Vibrato should fall in between there. As you can see, this is much, much longer. It's almost a whole step or even a minor third. So, let me do regular vibrato for you. Okay, I'm going to stop this, and I'm going to bring it over, and I'm going to zoom in here a little bit. Okay, the note C now is flat here a little bit, but you can see the note is actually in between the waveform, and that's what we want. Okay, so I'm going to do the two side by side. Abdominal vibrato. Regular vibrato. Okay, I'm going to stop this. We'll take a look. The abdominal vibrato goes underneath the note only. Regular vibrato goes under and above the note. Again, the note C right in between them. And this is how we start our regular vibrato, with a drop in air pressure. Again, abdominal vibrato is caused by flexing in the voice, and pulsating. So if we sing the note straight and drop it, and we do that fast enough, out comes regular vibrato. Now, the third type of vibrato that you'll hear people use is called tremolo. I'm going to demonstrate that for you. Okay, I'm going to stop it. We'll take a quick look. After I zoom in, let me move this over, this down, and then I'm going to zoom in here a little bit. And there it is. Very, very jagged looking and uneven. Okay, there is no wave to this. It is tremolo. It is a trembling. And this is also caused by a flexing. It is a flexing in the larynx. Okay? Abdominal vibrato is a flexing in the stomach. So I'm going to do the regular vibrato one more time for you. Now, the way that we practice our vibrato is this. We take the vibrato and slow it down until it's called a bob. Bobbing is how we develop our vibrato, and it sounds like this. Okay, let me move this over. So I drop my voice, drop, went to a certain speed, and bang, out comes the vibrato. Now, it wasn't quite on C. Let me try that again one more time. Okay, that's a little bit better. So here again, drop in air pressure, start speeding it up, and lo and behold, it starts to snap back up, and there we have our vibrato wave. That's how we develop it. Bobbing is vibrato, but slowed down. And bobbing, by the way, is an ornament all of its own. We do use this in contemporary voice. But here it's an excellent tool to developing our regular vibrato.